that came a lot of, it was a large learning curve and a big process of understanding exactly what the iPad could do, what it could offer. Apple has gone through a lot of ups and downs with its management component as far as acquiring apps, paying for apps, managing apps, and then distributing them on larger numbers of iPads. Chicago Public Schools underwent a very large initiative with iPads that has been actually very successful, and they've been kind of a leader in this, where we've learned a lot from them. So last year we purchased a small amount of iPads. ELF provided the iPads for the pilot here at Roosevelt's. And then ELF also funded 3 additional iPad grants this year, or in the spring of last year, that I'm guessing you saw presentations on, I hope, when the grants were awarded. So we have those three projects that are carrying on this year. There were ERA funds that were left over at the end of last year, and so through Dr. Nelson, before she retired, used those funds to purchase additional iPads for the special ed department, for special ed teachers to use with students throughout all of our buildings actually. MedSep provided a lot of training and has done a lot of work with iPads. We're working with a MedSep employee who has done specific training for our employees on it, and who will continue this year to provide training for those staff members as well.
All staff members, or just special ed?
It's open to all staff members if we so choose, but specifically to get started with those teachers who are receiving the iPads through ERA. I've had 3 of my technicians working this summer to really fine-tune the entire process, working with a lot of other districts who are using iPads, and to finalize and create an actual policy on how do we go about securing apps for the iPads, how do teachers request them, how do we manage them. So we actually have a very nice system in place that we're finalizing that will be rolled out. Teachers will go through training prior to being allowed to even use the iPads, so they will have a good understanding of what is its educational purpose.
And this training will be conducted on the Wednesdays, the early dismissal days, or
it'll be a variety of formats like we did with the smart boards last year. We can have opportunities for release time. We can have opportunities for early release Wednesdays, before school, after school, professional growth, after school classes as well. All of our technologists in each of our buildings will be managers, and in addition, our 3 technology coaches who we will be piloting that program will also be involved in this as well. So it's a small pilot at each of the buildings to really get our feet wet, but the educational advantage to using these types of computer hardware in classrooms, I think, is going to give us a lot of bang for our buck with something that is much cheaper than a laptop. It provides a lot of specialized applications specific for education.
Terry, maybe one thing to add, and I know Mr. Zimmerman is better on this than I am because he was on this portion of the strategic plan. But as I recall, some of the technology discussion of the strategic plan revolved around kind of what sorts of hardware should the district have and what should we be pursuing as the next thing in technology. And as I understand it, the action team working on that felt uncomfortable kind of setting the direction as far as hardware. And so the recommendation ended up being a process one rather than a substantive one. And that was the creation of this technology implementation team that I've always been excited about having, because I view it as the opportunity to really get under the hood and figure out, are iPads worth it? Are smart boards worth it? How much should we be, shifted toward one versus the other, that kind of thing. Has the technology implementation committee had a chance to kind of react to at least the concepts that are underlying this year's purchases for technology and kind of get comfortable
that's probably been the number one question that I've been asked by everyone on the technology committee this year is, are we getting iPads? When are we getting iPads? Who's getting iPads? How many iPads are we getting? I've had a number of staff who have their own iPads who are bringing them in and wanting to use them in the classroom, which presents a whole other range of issues with that in and of itself. But with us scaling back a little bit on the hardware budget as far as rolling out a greater number of smart boards or even the laptops that we are purchasing are really to refresh and to maintain what we currently have, not to increase what we currently have, so that we can really build up our professional development and growth behind it. The idea also with the iPads is that we have a lot of classrooms that are not receiving smart boards, that do not have, especially in our primary grades, who are not having access to a lot of those resources, that this was a way to get larger numbers of machines in the hands of our students quickly. And that could be used effectively when we use small group work and center activities and things like that within the primary grades.
So that's what I'm trying to understand is, where do we get the most bang for our buck? Because an iPad is half the price of a laptop. We're spending about $400,000 on laptops this year, after spending $330,000 last year on laptops.
Well, the total cost going to Apple this year includes the cost of the iPads, which is, I believe,
It's like 30 grand.
yeah, it's $37,660 of that total amount is there. The laptops we're spending $156,657. And the MacBooks include those to go to 69 staff members to refresh their outdated machines. And the remainder are going onto carts to replace outdated student machines.
Well, my question, I keep coming back to, if the iPad is the way to go, then why are we buying any laptops? We could buy 2 for 1.
I think the misperception is that iPads are replacements for laptops, and I don't feel that that has been proven in any way at this point. I think that we rely on our laptops because we are limited in space for labs. We still have needs for keyboarding. We still have needs for assessments that are online, and you cannot do those on iPads.
But you can get an external keyboard for an iPad. It's still cheaper than a laptop, and if you use the laptop to get on the web, it's one thing. But are you using disks or applications on a laptop that won't be able to use with a iPad?
Yes, our whole math testing that we do cannot be done on an iPad at this point. To be able to project what you do on an iPad, you have to buy adapters for that. The full-blown suite of applications that we use on a desktop are not available on iPads at this time. Yeah. And I'm not saying that there's not potential, that the future of a touchpad machine will not have the capability in the future, but at this point, they cannot replace what we currently do. And for example, every laptop in our elementary and middle, I think almost everyone in our middle schools are used during math testing, which is 9 weeks out of the year. So even to support online testing, we have to have capable laptops to do that.
So I also get back to how impactful, we're going to buy, I think it's 70 iPads, and we're going to give one to every school, so that means each school gets like 9. To do a pilot at every school, but we only have 3 technology coaches, not at every school. And I guess I'm also having a hard time processing the fact that you're telling us that the technologists are capable of teaching curriculum on an iPad?
No, and I apologize if that's what I communicated. The technologists will be managing the iPads. The management piece as far as loading apps, syncing apps, managing the checkout of the iPads, not not providing the professional development.
So then I just wonder, how impactful will it be to have 8 iPads in each one of our schools to do a pilot? When we did a pilot last year here, and we've concluded that they're good. So why don't we just, do we need to do more pilots?
Well, and
Or
I
8
guess,
of them? I guess
well,
that's what I'm.
and I guess the term pilot maybe that's an incorrect term for what we're doing. Is a limited rollout of these, I guess, would be maybe more an accurate statement.
So would it make more sense to roll them out in the 3 schools where the technology coaches are?
My rationale behind the iPads is that if you put an iPad in the hand of a teacher or a student, within 5 minutes they could be doing something. When you come to, because most people are familiar with iPhones or have other similar hardware, iPods. We have had iPod touches in the district for the last, I believe, 3 years. So it's like a larger iPod touch. It's not as great of a jump to, let's say, a smart board, or really getting into curriculum pieces of integrating technology as a whole. So I think it's something that can still increase all of our buildings and benefit all of our students, rather than just saying these 3 buildings are going to get everything. Just like the smart boards, we could have said we're only going to put smart boards in the 3 buildings with coaches. I don't want to create such great inequity that we can't catch up later in future years. I think that would just create a lot of problems.
Are they at least going to be rolled out in a limited fashion to the same level of student, so that there's some consistency in your rollout? Like all 5th graders or all 3rd graders?
They're rolled out like the laptop cards are rolled out as far as available for checkout. They will be housed on cards and available for checkout to be used at every level within those. Checked out by the teachers to be used within their classroom.
A wide range of applicability.
Absolutely, and that's one of the points I made. We have smart boards which touch 25 kids on any given day within a classroom. You have 10, 20 iPads in a building that could touch 350 kids a week at a given day. So it's
I don't know, I see it differently. I see the smart board as touching every student in the classroom if it's being used well or effectively. And the iPad is a one-on-one type of a device, in my mind, I guess. I don't
well,
know.
and I guess that's the point, is that you're reaching them in different capacities. My point is that you can't say every kid has to touch a smart board and that will be the ultimate educational experience. The point is that there's value in iPads, there's values in laptops, there's values in sitting in a computer lab with a desktop. There's value, potentially at high school levels with smartphones and the multitude of technologies that are coming out. That I don't want to limit ourselves to just saying that all we're going to focus in on is one technology and limit it to those classrooms that receive it. I think that's creating unfair distribution of resources.
Will it aid in differentiation?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And again, the ability for it to